Hello friends, welcome to Technical Modern Pharmacy. In this channel we discuss about pharmacy related job and vacancies and interview related data. So today we are going to discuss about frequently asked questions in the interview of pharmacovigilance. This is second part of video. First part I have already uploaded to channel. You can find its link in description. So let's start today's discussion. We are going to discuss about few important topics. One of that is MedRA. So this is very important part in pharmacovigilance. You can call it backbone of pharmacovigilance. MedRA. What is MedRA? The answer is MedRA is Medical Dictionary for Regulatory Activity. This is abbreviation of MedRA. So we will focus on few points about MedRA. MedRA is clinically validated international medical terminology dictionary. It is International Medical Terminology Dictionary. The first version of MedRA was released in 1999 and it was in English and Japanese language. MedRA is now also translated to Chinese, Czech, Dutch, French, German, Hungarian, Italian, Korean, Portuguese, Brazilian Portuguese, Russian and Spanish, like different languages. The current version of MedRA as on March 2022 is 25th version. So this is brief about MedRA, that is Medical Dictionary for Regulatory Activity. We'll see second question. When does MedRA update? When does MedRA update? So the answer is MedRA updates twice a year. Major version of the MedRA update in March and minor version of the MedRA update in September. MedRA updates twice a year. So in March there will be update and it will be major. MedRA will version up to major version. And in September MedRA will get updated but its version will update to minor version. For example, in March 2018 MedRA got updated and it version up to 21.0. In September 2018 it got updated and version up to 21.1. Again in next year March 2019 it updated to 22.0, whereas in September it got updated to 22.1. Means in March it is getting updated to major version and in September it is getting updated to minor version in decimal 21.1, 22.1, 23.1, 24.1 likewise. So these are update system of the MedRA. Next question, explain the hierarchy in MedRA. So there are few group of terms in MedRA. There are five types of terms in MedRA, that is system organ class, high level group term, high level term, preferred term and lowest level term. These are five types of terms in MedRA and its hierarchy are mentioned here. First is system organ class, second is high level group term, third is high level term, fourth is preferred term and fifth is lowest level term. In short it is called as LLT, PT, HLT, HLGT and SOC. We will see the example of terminology in MedRA. Suppose we have received any report in which patient is saying that I am suffering arrhythmia, or he is stating like my rhythm is not normal, or whatever his wording is. So we will have to code it in medical language. So for this verbatim we can code in few different words like arrhythmia, NOS, arrhythmia and dysarrhythmia. There are few different LLTs available. So the description reported by the patient we will code with LLT, LLT should be matched with description. LLT should be very close to description. This is the system of coding. Patient is saying that I am suffering arrhythmia, or my heart rhythm is not normal, or whatever he is saying. We will try to find exact match or very close to match of that description reported by the patient, and we will select appropriate LLT. For example, he said that my heart rhythm is not normal, so we can find few LLTs in MedRA like arrhythmia NOS, arrhythmia, dysrhythmia. Here are few different terms, and the PT for these all three LLT is arrhythmia. In other words, we can say that PT is umbrella term for many LLTs, HLT is umbrella term for many PTs, HLGT is umbrella term for many HLTs, and SOC is umbrella term for many HLGTs. So hope you understood. We'll move to next question. What can you code using MedRA? The question is, with the help of MedRA, what can we code while processing the case, while handling of ICSR or anything? So the answer is, all medical conditions except drug we can code using MedRA. All medical conditions except drug we can code with the help of MedRA. So the medical conditions, for example, event, patient suffering any event. In previous slide we saw arrhythmia, event, lab data, medical history, indication of the drugs. Patient says that I was taking so and so drug for so and so problem. That is the indication of the drug and diagnosis which were provided in source document. So these things we can code with the help of MedRA, but we cannot code drugs with the help of MedRA. There is different dictionaries for coding of the drug. For company suspect drug, there is company dictionary installed in database, and for non-company suspect drugs or concomitant drugs or historical drugs, we use WHODD, World Health Organization Drug Dictionary, for coding of the drugs which are other than suspect drug. Okay, so it was brief about MedRA. We will move to next topic, that is clinical trial. This is very basic and very important topic. It is asked in all the interviews. This is very basic and very common question in all interviews. So the question might be, what are clinical trials? Answer should be, clinical studies test potential treatment in human volunteers to see whether they should be approved for wider use in the general population. A treatment could be drug, biologic such as vaccine, medical device, blood product, or gene therapy. We can conduct clinical trial on any of these mentioned products, medicaments. So please learn this definition of clinical trial. This is very important. It is widely asked in almost all the interviews. So this is very important. Potential treatments, however, must first be studied in laboratory animals to determine its safety before they can be tried in people. Treatments having acceptable safety profiles and showing the most promise in the animal model are then moved into clinical trials. So before going to clinical trials, that drug is tested on animals. So the drug is tested before clinical trials on animals in laboratories. Okay. Clinical trials are integral part of new product discovery and development and are required by all regulatory agencies. That is FDA in the United States before a new product can be brought to the market. Next question is, who may be the sponsor of clinical trial? Okay, we are going to study about the clinical trial. Then we should know who are the sponsors for clinical trial. Clinical trials are not so simple thing. This is very complicated, very wide and very risky and very costly thing. These studies are very costly. So Question is, who may be the sponsor of clinical trial? So the answer is, clinical trials can be sponsored or funded by a variety of organizations or individuals. Might be physician, medical institution, foundations, voluntary groups, and pharmaceutical companies. In addition to government agencies such as National Institute of Health (NIH), the Department of Defense (DOD), Human Health Services (HHS), and Department of Veterans Affairs (VA). So all above mentioned may be the sponsor of clinical trial. Next question. Describe the various types of clinical trial. This is again important question about clinical trial. The clinical trials are as following. First is diagnostic trial, second treatment trial, third prevention trial, and fourth certain trials. So the diagnostic trials are conducted usually on people who have signs or symptoms of cancer. Cancer is just an example considered here. Clinical trials can be conducted on any disease or disorder. About treatment trials are conducted with people who have actually cancer, the people who have actually disease. Prevention trials. Third is prevention trials. So prevention trials include tests like medications, vitamins, or other supplements which according to doctors may can lower the risk of development of certain type of cancer. Generally, the prevention trials are conducted with healthy people with no cancer history. Certain trials are also conducted with people who have cancer and want to reduce the chance of developing a new type of cancer or returning of cancer. So these are four types of cancers. So these are four types of clinical trials. We'll move to next question. Explain phases of clinical trial. Again, important question. Hope all of you know the phases of clinical trial. Clinical trials are conducted in stages called as phases, each phase having specific goal. This process provides information regarding the treatment in controlled process. So the phase 1, also called as dosing, pharmacokinetic, or clinical pharmacology studies. These trials test method help to decide route and formulation. For example, by mouth or injection, what should be the route, what should be the route of administration, and what should be the formulation, etc. And how often? This is frequency. Route, formulation, and frequency decided, as well as the safety index of the treatment. These trials usually involve 20 to 80 healthy participants, healthy volunteers. So in first phase, there are no patients. This phase is conducted on healthy patients, healthy volunteers. And what is decided, what is observed, what is studied? Route, formulation, frequency, and safety index of the drug. So we'll move to next phase. Second phase, these trials continue to test safety of the treatment and evaluate how well the treatment is tolerance, and how well it works. Phase second studies usually evaluate the treatment in specific conditions. These trials usually involve 100 to 300 patients. See, in phase 1 there were no patient, there were all healthy volunteers, all healthy participants. But in phase second there are patients. So phase second, what is determined in phase second? Safety and tolerance. Phase third, these trials compare the experimental treatment to the current standard. Phase third is very important phase in clinical trial, in which compare the experimental treatment to the current standard of treatment for specific condition, establishing both efficacy and adverse event. Participants are usually assigned to either receive the experimental treatment or current standard. Phase third trials typically enroll large number of patients, that is 1000 to 3000. and may be carried out at hospital and doctors' offices nationwide. So phase third is very important, in which there is a comparison of test drug with standard. Phase 4 is nothing but post-marketing studies. So phase 4 is post-marketing studies to gain greater understanding of the treatment, including its risk, benefit and optimal use. Depending on the purpose of these studies, there may be a small studies like a phase 1 or maybe even larger than phase 3rd study. So these are 4 phases of clinical trials. These are very important phases. Please learn about all these 4 phases. These are very important. Whenever interviewer will ask you about clinical trial, he will probably ask you about phases of clinical trial. So this is very important questions in the interview of pharmacovigilance and many other interviews related to life science. Question number 10. What is randomization? So the answer is the process of assigning subject to treatment or control group using an element of chance to determine the assignment in order to reduce biasness. So the randomization is a process in clinical trial. So the process of assigning subject to treatment or control groups using elemental chance to determine assignment in order to reduce bias. So the randomization is process where subjects are randomly selected, patients are randomly selected to receive either placebo or standard drug or comparator. This is randomization. Name itself, word itself indicating its meaning. Question number 11. What is comparator? This is again question from phase 3rd. The answer is marketed or investigational product that is active control or placebo based as reference in clinical trial is comparator. It may be marketed or it may be investigational product which is used in clinical trial as comparator, which might be used as comparator in comparison of study drug. Question number 12. Who can be part of clinical trial? So the answer is the certain to joining a clinical trial participant must meet those. This is an important aspect of any clinical trial to ensure that the treatment is being investigated safely and accurately. Factors those allow someone to participate in clinical trial are called inclusion criteria, and those that disallow someone from participating are called exclusion criteria. 2 words, inclusion criteria and exclusion criteria. These are important words. We'll move to next question. What is placebo? This is very silly, very basic question. What is placebo? The placebo is an inactive medicament which may be pill, liquid or powder that has no treatment value. Placebo is nothing but a dummy kind thing which has no treatment value. The placebo will be administered instead of active drug to some portion of the participant to assess the experimental treatment's effectiveness and safety related to no treatment at all. So during the clinical trial, some patients will be given study drug and some patients will be given placebo to avoid biasness. Next question. What is blinding? This is very important part in clinical trial. Answer is during clinical trial, one or more subject kept unaware about treatment being administered. So this is nothing but about awareness of the treatment. Blinding is about awareness of treatment. So there are 3 types of blinding: single blinding, double blinding and triple blinding. Apart from this, one is open label study. Where is no blind. So single blind, only subject is unaware about the treatment being received. Double blinding, subject, investigator, monitor and sometime data analyst unaware about the treatment, which treatment is being administered to the patient. Triple blinding, subject, investigator, bio-statistician unaware about the treatment. Blinding help to avoid biasness in treatment. Next question, what is control or control group in clinical trial? The answer is, in clinical trial, control is the standard by which experimental observations are evaluated. In many clinical trials, one group of patients will be given an experimental drug or treatment, whereas the control group is given either placebo or a standard treatment for illness. Next question, what do you mean by protocol? Understand protocol. Protocol is nothing but a plan, well planned. Protocol is a study plan on which the clinical trial is based. Each trial is very carefully designed to safeguard the health of participants as well answer specific research questions. The protocol describes in detail what type of people may participate in trial, the schedule of test, procedure, medications, dosage and length of the study. Everything will be predefined. That is called protocol. Next question is, what is prospective randomized double-blind controlled clinical trial? This is definition related to third phase of clinical trial. Please learn it. A prospective randomized double-blind controlled clinical trial is the most rigorous clinical trial design and the one that regulatory agencies mandate must be conducted to demonstrate medication's effectiveness and safety. This is mandate phase. Question number 18. Define few terms like prospective, randomized, double-blind and control. So the answer is forward-looking beginning before the participant has started treatment is prospective. Prospective is nothing but all about starting phase of the study, starting phase of the treatment. Randomized, word itself indicating randomization, as we have seen in previous slide. The patients are randomly assigned to receive the experimental treatment or alternative standard or placebo. Double-blinded, neither patient nor study staff knows which participants are receiving the experimental drug and which are receiving a placebo or a standard treatment. Blind study. Controlled, one group of patients will be given an experimental drug or treatment, whereas second group is given either a standard treatment for the illness or placebo. These were few questions and answer which are frequently asked in the interview of pharmacovigilance. So I'll keep posting job vacancies and same time will provide few common question and answers for interview. Please like the video, comment and share and subscribe the channel if you like the video. You can follow me on LinkedIn. I have provided link at the bottom. On LinkedIn I usually post the job vacancies. So best of the luck if you are going for interview. Thank you for watching the video. Have a nice day.